Alright, so a little disclaimer before we start. This Gaurd Academy is more centered towards pro-am guards. It can be useful to, stage players, park players, and all that, but keep in mind when you're looking at the builds and things that I like, and when I get into the YAP session, and it's heavily centered towards my pro-am players. That being said, the dribble section part of this video can be useful anywhere, so make sure if you don't want to see anything else, you want to skip straight to that, I will leave markers so you can go see that. And I'm not going to waste too much time, and let's get right into it. So kind of before I get into the actual builds, I'm letting you know now that I'm making these builds based off my playstyle, and for my playstyle, because I play a lot of pro-am, I do a lot of PNR, so these builds won't kind of be 5L builds or ISO builds. They'll be builds that need screens, and the big man sets me picks and he rolls to the basket. So keep that in mind as I make these builds. So let's get right into it. So for the first build, gonna be right-handed, and we're gonna start off with go shortest to tallest in order of build. So we're gonna go 6'1", gonna make a 175, and you're gonna go with a 6'2" wingspan. You're gonna go to a 94 tray ball. I have 13 cap breakers, so I'll probably put on screen where the cap breakers are, so So 94 tray ball, 5 cap breakers go there, that gets to 99. Bring up the mid range to 85. We're gonna go over the ball handle. So we're gonna get the ball handle to a 91. We want it at 94 so we get handles for days as high as we can without killing the build. So speed with ball, we're gonna go at an 87, and then you're gonna use 5, and that's gonna get it to 90. No, we're gonna go to 89. Scratch that, and then you're gonna put your 5 cap breakers, and that gets you to 94. So this build's gonna have a 94 sweep ball at 6'1". So let's head on over to agility. Make sure the agility is at 80 so you get Donovan Mitchell motion style. And now let's head on over to drive and dunk. Build isn't gonna have too much dunk, 87. That's what we can spare, and then we'll get the vertical to 70. And let's worry about defense. Now, it's crucial that since you're 6'1", you want to have some kind of defense. So we're gonna go with 85, and we're gonna go with a 73 still. Now you see it as 85 perimeter. It kind of doesn't matter because how short you are. You can get contested, you can stop shots, but most times they can't shoot over you. But this is just to mitigate and stop some of that from happening. So as you saw, I put my block up, and we're gonna try and put our interior up after we upgrade our pass sag. We're gonna get the pass sag to a 92, and just put the rest towards interior. That way you can kind of stop those back doors on from happening. Now after you finish the build, you should get playmaking 3-point slasher. And this is 6'1". This is kind of the meta build. It might be off a little bit based on how you want to use your attributes as cap breakers. You get more of them, you'll make the build different later on, but you can tweak this how you like. This is the 6'1". This is the kind of the small, real small guard that they run in pro-am. All right, now let's get over to one of my faves, and that's the 6'4". If I'm not playing 6'5", I'm playing 6'4". It's just the best build in my opinion because of the height. You get to make a lot. I believe you make more contested shots on a 6'4" anyway, just because of that height. And it stops the lock. So pretty much similar to the other build. The cap breaker is gonna go generally in the same spot. So 94. Gonna put your +5 there to get 99. Get your midi upgraded. We're gonna go ball handle. We're gonna go to 91. So you put your +3 here. So that's 10 cap breakers. And then you want to go to an 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. So you put it at 87, and this is your cap breaker. So I have 13, so that's 5 here, that's 4 here, and that's 5 there. So 5 and 10. Actually, no, yeah. So this is 13 cap breakers. You got 5 here, you got 4 there, that's 9, and then you got 5 there. That's your 13 cap breakers. Now everything else, you can't get as much perimeter here as the other build because you don't get more attributes. The shorter you are, the more attributes you get. So we're trying at least to get it to 81. Trying to get the steal to a 73. Get the agility to an 80. Pass accuracy, it's not going to be 90 on this one, I'm afraid. Going to go 85, but 85 is more than enough if you know how to make the right read. And we're going to put the rest most towards driving dunk. So and this is the build you ought to get. Now you can tweak this and definitely make it better. You can take down some other stuff if you feel it's necessary. Some people go to 77 perimeter, even lower than that, to try and get the 87 drive and dunk, and then they finesse it. They lower their perimeter basically enough to where they can get their vertical to 70. So you can kind of make this how you want to. But when it's all said and done, let's go ahead and finish the build. Let's see what name we get. Probably an ISO Savant. And when you make the build, yep, it's called an ISO Savant. So this is the 6'4". Now for my favorite build, I like playing on this, even though it's not entirely meta. I like playing on it because I like to fade a lot. And this is the 6'5". So you're gonna make him 6'5", 175, lowest wingspan, just like the others. 94. We're gonna put the 5 cap breakers here. Upgrade your free throw. Now here you're gonna get to a 90. We'll leave that there for now. See, you only get an 89 speed with balls, so we're gonna go to 84. So we're gonna go 84, and then you plus 5. That's 89, and then the rest of the cap breakers you put 91. You put these 3, and you get a 94 ball handle. I was just making sure that this build can indeed get 94, so you get that ball. Your handles for days on a legend, or not legend, half. So pass accuracy is going to be an 85. We'll go back to it if we have spare cap breakers. Now this, you don't want to go 80 like the others. You want to go 84 because you want Alex Caruso motion style. It's definitely worth having. You move faster on offense with the ball. So this build, the taller the build, I say the more you're going to want dunking because how good dunking is. So I'm going to go with 89, 75. And now I'm going to put my meaty up there. I'm going to try at least get a 70. This build isn't going to have steal, but we're going to have a 92 pass act, 71 perimeter. As you're taller, it doesn't really matter about your defense because that height factors in, so I don't have to have so much block. Now, as I get more cap breakers, I put my block up, get more defense, etc., etc. So this is the build, and this is probably the build I like the most out of all of them. Now, what's the best build? It's probably the 6'1", because you have the most, but this is my favorite, and it's called an offensive engine. All right, now that we got all the builds out the way, let's head on over to the dribble section of this video. All right, so before I get directly into the actual dribble tutorial, let's go over the animations. First, I'm gonna go over small guard animations. So this is 6'4" and below. These are pretty much the best animations you want. So pass style, up to you. I'm using Rajon Rondo, but dribble style, Ja Morant's the fastest in the game. You really shouldn't be using anything else. Signature size up, I don't even use this move too often, but I enjoy Stephen Curry. It can kind of get me out of sticky situations depending. I don't really, like I said, I don't really use it though, but this is a must. DBOOK, Devin Booker breakdown. This is how you can get those crabs when the lock is playing you too high. You can just flick up on the thumbstick and then you can get in front of them pretty much most of the time depending. And then escape. Now this, everyone's favorite is Kemba Walker, but you can try Trae Young and a few others, but the main best one is Kemba Walker right now. And I'll explain to you later why I say Kemba is the best, because it's going to tie into the L2 cancel I'm going to show you into the in the dribble tutorial. So combo moves. This year there aren't too many good combo moves, so I just went with Pro. It seems like it's the fastest. And then Lonzo Ball crossover, by far probably the best one this year. It used to be De'Aaron Fox in previous 2K, but that gets you ripped. But Lonzo's closest thing we have right now to being the best crossover. So behind the back, Steph Curry, pretty much the only usable one for small guards, if I'm just going to be honest with you. The other ones aren't really all that good. You can try them, but I find Steph Curry to be the best. Spin, I don't even use it, so I put on something random. And hesitation, 2K Labs approved. It is the fastest hesitation to quick stop, so make sure you put that on. And when I show you the quick stop, you're gonna want on James Harden, so don't put on something else. Step back, the moves I'm gonna show you, you're gonna want either him or Vince Carter, but I say DBOOK is better. And now since I'm showing you all my dribble moves, I might as well show you the jumper. The jumper I'm using right now is Patrick Mills, Patty Mills, Beluba, Colin Sexton, but there's no Colin Sexton jumper. It's pure Beluba, so it's Patty pure Beluba. So for my 6'5" builds, these are my kind of non-meta builds, but I enjoy personally playing on them the most. So you're gonna want Dribble style Zach Levine, only usable one, just like John Moran for small guard. T-Mac, I do kind of use the size up quite a bit. It's the fastest, 2K Labs approved. And breakdown Devin Booker, like I said earlier, it's the best with a crab, all that good whatnot. And then Jimmy Butler escape. Now for the escapes, you can't get KEMBA, so Jimmy and Paul George are the only ones you kind of gonna use. So some people do use Kobe Bryant, but because I'm L2 canceling, and I'm gonna show you that in the dribble tutorial, and it's gonna be hard on a taller guard in general, you're gonna really want Jimmy Butler. I wouldn't even advise Paul George. Put on Jimmy Butler because some of the dribbles I'm gonna show you, it's easiest to do with Jimmy Butler. Now let me go back to animations. Combo moves, pro, like I said earlier, crossover the same as earlier. Behind the back. Now a lot of people like using SGA because they say it's like Curry, but I'm not a fan. I'm more of a fan of DeMar DeRozan. It kind of gives me that 2K24 Trae Young feel. So try it on, see if you like it, and if you like it, keep it on. James Harden hesitation, like I said earlier, fastest hesitation in the game, and with the quick stop I'm going to show you, you're going to want it on. And then DBOOK step back, and it's for jumper. You're gonna want to be starter for both the jumpers that I gave you. For Patrick Mills, if you're wondering why you don't have, if you're looking, you have to be starter for. And for T-Mac, which is the base I'm using now, you're gonna want to have starter for. So what I'm using is T-Mac, Pure Beluga, pretty much Pure Beluga for all my jump shots. So now that I've showed you all that, let's get directly into the actual dribble tutorial. All right, so I'm on the 6'4", and let's get right into the dribble tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the KEMBA escape. So that's when you flick in the up, whichever the hand the ball's in, you're just going to flick your right stick diagonal upward to that direction. So just kind of up, left if it's in your right hand, and right if it's in your left hand. That right there is the KEMBA escape. You can spam it, all that good whatnot. Alright, so the next move I'm going to show you is the DBOOK snatch. So let's say you're coming up court, you're trying to change directions real quick, and you're trying to get the lock off. You just run, flick the right stick down, run, flick the right stick down, and that little change in direction, that'll get a lock most times if they're bumping you and they're getting real aggressive, trying to push in the back court, trying to put pressure on you. So just come up the court, you can hold RT or not, it doesn't really matter. So you come up court and just flick your right stick straight down and go the other direction, straight down, just like that. Pretty simple, pretty simple. Now if you got that, I'm going to show you the Devin Booker crab, aka the Devin Booker breakdown combo. So you get the ball, hold RT, and just flick the right stick straight up, just like that. I'm gonna do it again. Hold RT, flick the right stick straight up. It's that easy. Now, based on all the moves I just showed you, the KEMBA, the DBOOK snatch when you're running, and then I just showed you the DBOOK crab. You can combo just these three, and you can combo out of something. So you can do a DBOOK like that, do a snatch, and then do a breakdown DBOOK crab, just like that. And you can get open. Just that can get you just some points from playing guard. All right, so the next thing, let's show you the quick stop. So this is why I said have on the James Harden hesitation, because it heavily matters if you can quick stop. So run either left or right, and then just flick up. That's it. And that's a quick stop. Run, flick up. That's a quick stop. Run, flick up. That's a quick stop. So let's say you're doing a KEMBA, and then you run, you just flick up, and then shoot the ball. Right after you flick up on the right stick, just immediately shoot. So flick up, and then shoot. Quick stopping this year, it's very easy. So just throw your combos, dribble, run, flick up, and then shoot. Very simple. You can even do it like a quick peek. Just run, then just see if you do it too fast, you get fade. But you can just run and then just instantly, just like that. So that's your quick stop. Now let's show you the Curry escape. So for the Curry escape, you're gonna hold RT and you're gonna flick diagonal downward to the opposite ball hand. So it's in my left, we're gonna go diagonal down right. So basically the corner of your thumbstick. So it's in my right hand, let's go left. So let's do it to the right. Pay attention to the thumbstick. So diagonal down to the opposite ball hand. Just like that. And then you can keep spamming. That kind of thing. So based off everything I showed you, you know, the snatch bag, the DBOOK crab, the KEMBA escape, the quick stop. Alright, now that I've showed you the curry escape and the quick stop, let's branch off into that quick stop again. I'm going to show you the continuous quick stop. So let's get the ball back. So just how you quick stop earlier, instead of just quick stopping, you're just going to keep running. So you run, flick up, keep running, run, flick up, keep running. That's simple. Run, flick up, keep running, flick up, keep running, flick up, keep running. Same thing as a quick stop, except you just keep running and then just do it again. So let's say you're doing like DBOOK snatch bag, KEMBA escape, you run, you quick stop, and then you just do it again. Because if you just quick stop once and the locking back end knows that's what you do a lot, they're gonna start jumping at it. That throws them off, and you know, makes them have to think about the next move that you're doing. So now that you know these combos, let's get some backcourt combos. So let's say you're coming up court and you're trying, like, you're getting heavily pressed, they're trying to deny you ball early, you have a lot of points. This can help free you in the backcourt to kind of get you in the front court a lot faster. So let me show you the move first. Left, right, down, just like that. Left, right, down, just like that. That little move right there can free you in the backcourt and kind of get the lock off you when he's trying to press you and bump you. So to actually do it, whatever the hand the ball is in, you're gonna go to the opposite direction. So if it's in the right, you're gonna go up the court, left, right, then down on thumbstick. So whatever hand the ball's in, coming up court, so your left hand, right, left, then down. That's simple. Opposite direction, down on thumbstick. It's in your right hand, left, right, and down. Very simple. I'll do it a few more times. Left hand, right, left, down. That'll get you open so much in the backcourt and stop those locks from bumping you and all that. So let's get on to the next dribble move. So this is probably the hardest dribble move. And as you know, the hardest things in this game to do, get you the most points. This right here is a must know. If you know how to L2 cancel, you can score just so easy. You can score on some of the best defenders when you know how to L2 cancel. And there's two versions of doing it. You don't actually hold L2 this year, but that's just what it's been called in the past. So let me show you. I'm going to show you the first one. So first off, what you're going to do, I'm going to break this down into sections so you kind of can get it down easy. So you're going to run left, you're going to flick up. Kind of similar to how you were quick stopping. So like you're running right, you're going to flick up. All right, so now whether you're running left or right, after you flick up, you're going to flick down right afterwards. So you kind of want it in a singular motion. You're going to flick up and then down. You're going to run, flick up, and then down. You're going to run, flick up, and then down. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And that change in direction kills so many locks. Like it, you know, fading this year is already good. So you do this and then come out of it real quick into a fade, you're frying. Like you're cooking with grease at this point. So the next part of this move, so now that you're going up and down, you might be doing this and then you're wondering why you do like up, down, and then you get something like that and you can't go the way. Pay attention to the left thumbstick. Now that you've got the up, down part right, you see, watch the left thumbstick. You want to pull the left thumbstick to the direction into which you want to run. So up, down, left thumbstick goes to the way I want to run. Up, down, left thumbstick goes to the way I want to run every time. So if I'm going left, up, down, to the opposite direction, up, down, to the opposite direction. That's it. That's the L2 cancel. Now, I'm explaining that pretty quickly, so just if you need to, slow the video down. Watch it if you need to over and again. Just pay attention to the thumbstick. And that's the easy way to do the L2 cancel. That's the one most people do. Now this, even though it's the hardest one to do, this is bread and butter. Like this is how you fry people the best. So let me get the ball back, recoup the stamina. This one, it's even though it's the hardest, it's the best move at all of them, truth be told. So instead of going up and down, you're gonna run left or right, whichever direction you're going. You're gonna run left or right. You're gonna flick up, and then instead of going down, you're gonna flick the right stick left or right. Now I just explained that and it probably is confusing, so let's go through it. I'm just gonna do it all in one motion, and then I'm gonna slow it down and break it down for you. So you're gonna run left, up to the right, up to the left, up to the right. Pay attention to the thumbsticks. Up to the right, up to the left, just like that. And if you like spam this into like so many different combos, you can kill a lot almost every time, especially if you're fading. So you can run left, that, and then do it again. See, even I just messed up. L2, L2, yep, and then you can fry somebody. You don't really, I wouldn't advise doing it more than twice, because it's kind of overkill and you're losing stamina at that point. But if you do it once, or you do it once and then twice, like boom, boom, you're gonna fry somebody. So now let's break that down so you can actually understand how to do it. So you're gonna run left, you're gonna flick up, and then you're gonna flick the stick right. You're gonna run left, flick stick up, right, then, you know, just like with the other L2 cancel, make sure after you go up and then you flick the right thumbstick, you making sure you're also doing that with your left thumbstick as well. So let's get the ball back. Let's say you're running right, flick up, left, and then just go the other direction. Flick up, right, go the other direction. That's simple. Flick up, right, other direction. Up, left, other direction. That's simple. Now you got all these moves, and you can move something like this. You can do a snatch back, a curry into a DBOOK crab, a KEMBA escape. You can run L2 cancel out of it, shoot. Once you get the dribbling down, you can pretty much just fry. Do whatever you need to do. So just, you know, L2, L2. That's the easy version right there, and then just run out of a fade and all that. Once you learn how to just move and get up court, like let's say a lock is pressing you on your right side, you can just left, right, down, come up the court, push cross. Like just you have a lot of this year as a guard. You have no excuse to not score. Like literally, you have so many options of where to score. Now that's the end of the dribble tour for my small guards. Let's get on over and let's show you all these moves on the tall guard. All right, so now that I'm on my 6'5", on top of the court, let's basically go over those same moves. So, you know, this is the Jimmy escape. You know, that's a DBOOK snatch bag, DBOOK crab. You basically can, everything I just did on the small guard, you can do this on 6'5" and 6'6". It's just not as smooth looking, you know. So let's get the ball. Let's show you the L2 cancel on a big guard. So up, down to the right, up, down to the left, up, down to the right, and then just fade. That's just chicken. That right there fries people most of the time. That's the easy quick stop. Let's do the hard one. That. Just changing directions is just, you know, see what I'm saying? Just like so easy. Once you learn the L2 cancels, like the escapes and all that, you're fine. Like let's say, like I showed you earlier, the lock is pressing you left, right, down, come up the court, DBOOK, anything, snatch back, L2. Just, you know, you have so many plethora of combos you can do as a guard that you can play tall guard and still be good. Like look how I'm moving. Just, you know, you can do all that. So that's pretty much the dribble sections video. Now I'm gonna get over to the yap sessions. So in the next section, I'm gonna basically be talking about how you run PG and pro-am, because like I said, this video is meant for my pro-am players essentially. You know, how to make the right read, rotations. I'm gonna probably try and show some clips, you know, break it down for you. Just the basketball knowledge side of you know, a basketball, that kind of ordeal. So let's get into that right now. I need y'all to tap in. Classes in session. Alright, so I'm gonna be covering the 3 things you need to know as a PG. So the first thing is scoring. You can't be passive, must be aggressive, and you got to make the defense work. Then you can start passing, set your teammates up, and all that kind of whatnot. And you got to know when and when not to score. You can't just chuck shots on around, digging your team in a bigger hole, shooting them out the game. And remember, take your fades and take your middies. The middies are lost art. You always need to take your middies, back ends and locks. They hardly ever play the middies, so stay aggressive on the mid range when you can. Also, make sure you're practicing with your team so you actually get better. Your offense will improve by playing with the same people, you know, just building team chemistry. All right, now that you have scoring, let's move on over to playmaking. Now, people will tell you that you need to be a pass-first guard, and, you know, you need to pass and all that whatnot, but like I said before, in the scoring section, you need to be aggressive first, then you can play make. Now, when you're playmaking, there's two ways to attack the defense: by scoring and passing. Now, the scoring, like I said earlier, freed up the playmaking. So now you can call plays, throw your slips, the big man, get your teammates involved, call stuff like wraps, cuts, fifis, overloads, passbacks. I kind of explain what some of that is. Like a wrap is when your two guard is at the hash or whatever, and then he replaces you. So he's at the left hash, he comes over to the right, you go over to the left, and normally that'll switch the weaker defender on you, and then you can kind of work or make the read or do whatever. And then like a cut is when you just send a player to the basket and, you give it to him. Fifi is where one of your corners cut to the basket, and that causes the defense to like focus on him. And then your two guard replaces him in that corner, and then he should be open most times. And then overloads is when one of your corners, you call them up to the top of the key, and then you make the read. If they play the back end, you just take the corner fade. If they don't, then you give it to the back end when he comes up to the top with a lock or whichever overloads. And then you have your pass backs. That's when you send someone on a cut, like I said from earlier, and then they just give it back to you. Most times locks don't play off-ball defense, so it should be a free three for you as a PG. Just call plays like this, and you can just attack the defense this way. And remember, with the better defenses you play, they are going to rotate. They're going to call stacks, triangles. You have to know this, and you have to be patient and make the right read. You can't throw late passes because you're going to get them intercepted almost every time. All right. So now that you have the scoring and playmaking at this point, now you need the last thing, which is, I believe, the most important, and that is confidence. You have to stay calm. You're the leader of your team, and you must stay composed. You can't be crashing, tweaking, on your teammates, etc. And don't be scared to get aggressive. You have to take quality shots. By aggressive, that doesn't mean chuck. That means take quality shots. Like if your team is down, boost morale, get them back into the game, try and score, call some plays, do what has to be done. And the third thing, your teammates are a reflection of you. So if they are poor attitude, they don't try, that's just a reflection of the way you are, if that's the team that you're playing with. And remember, perfect your position. If you practice and put in the work, you'll be fine. You won't ever fold when a moment gets too bright and all that whatnot. So that being said, this is pretty much a wrap to GAUIRD Academy. Remember, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.